like you're peaking right now based on, 2 of the 3 last games at least and some of the things you said?
Yeah, I feel like, we're playing good basketball when it matters. I feel like there's been a progression from November to even middle of the year to now, and just individual play and team play. So you feel good from that standpoint as a coach. Like you're clicking when you need to be your best. You're hopefully your best, and I think we're getting closer to playing our best. I still think we haven't had a total complete game where we've really played well on both sides of the ball, but I think it's getting in that direction.
Specifically, where's that growth been the most that you've seen over the course of the season? Is there any one place that you put above the others?
Probably just the standpoint of like what it takes to win and being consistent in those habits, being consistent with that approach. That's been huge for us, being able to learn from the good experiences and the bad, so that hopefully you don't have one loss that turns into 4 because of the same issues. And I think we've grown from those experiences. I think we've learned. But just to understand what it means to win at this level and everything that goes into that with details, I think we've steadily gotten better at that.
And I know things can change once the offseason starts, but everyone in the rotation that you've been relying on or you're expecting back for next year outside of the seniors that were honored 2 nights ago?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope so. All that stuff will probably, come to head at the end of the year. But, I give a lot of our guys credit. I mean, they've been so focused on just the task at hand. We haven't had any distractions, and that's hard to have in today's day and age. But we've had, great practices because everybody's been in it. There hasn't been a guy that's, been moody or been, a pain or been pouting. I mean, everybody truly has been engaged, and I think they're just really focused on making sure we finish the season the right way. And then, like every year, you have meetings at the end of the year, and guys have different decisions that they have to make. But I'm hoping. I think this is a really good group. I think it's a fun group. I think it's a group that, again, still, with an off season can get better and be more consistent, and has a chance to really be improved next year.
When you look at the way the team started as opposed to the flip in the second half, I mean, how can you put your finger on that? Because we haven't seen a start like that, especially at home, in a long time, and you guys won 5 in a row.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if senior day and that on their mind, I don't know if that has something to do with it. I mean, give Penn State credit for a team that hasn't traditionally shot it well. I mean, they made everything in the first half. I think they were 9-11 from 3, and Puff Johnson goes 4 for 4. I think he's shooting under 30%. So, some of it was you get shell shocked by that when we're talking about who's a shooter and who's not, and you're going over scout and they know the numbers, and a couple guys bury shots that they normally haven't. There comes sometimes a little bit of shock like that, like, well, wait a minute, isn't supposed to play out the way it is. But I just keep telling them, regardless of who you play, this time of year everybody's hungry. You got to expect everybody's best. You got to expect weird stuff to happen. Guys that aren't shooters are going to make shots. That can't alter how you approach the game and the type of focus that you have to have. And so thankfully we were able to rebound from that. But, tomorrow against Indiana, we have to come out with a better start in terms of just our mindset. Again, you can't always determine makes and miss shots, but our approach needs to be more like Illinois.
Ben, everywhere you look, it's the chatter about you guys possibly making the NCAA tournament, what you need to do the last couple of weeks and then the tournament. How do you keep your team focused on the task at hand and not looking ahead to the tournament? Yeah,
that's a good question because, there is, you, as a coach, you can't hide, the talk from the outside. The good part is you want to have talk. It means you're doing something. But I just tell guys, if you worry about that and you don't worry about the task at hand, that can become impossible because you don't handle business tomorrow, right? And so, in order for all that stuff to even be a possibility, you got to take care of today and worry about today. If you do that, then every opportunity that's down the road, there's a chance that it's there. But if you have one slip up, one minor mistake, one off day because you're not engaged or your mind's somewhere else, well, you're gonna waste an opportunity for the future. And so we just really try to harp on that. Like today, we got to have the best film session, the best practice, the best walkthrough that we've had all year. And then tomorrow, can we play the best game that we've played all year? And then can you reset it and do the same thing Thursday, Friday, Saturday? But that is the hardest thing, is to be able to block all that out. But as simple as it sounds, it's the truth. Like if you get caught up in the stuff that you can't control, you're leaving it up to doubt, right? But if you just focus on just today and live in the now, well, I just think you give yourself a better opportunity for anything that you want in the future.
Do you think your team is an NCAA tournament team right now, despite the rest of the season?
I think we're playing that way. I do. I think, again, even in the games where we haven't played well, I still feel like we have a formula for getting hot and be able to get on a roll, and I think we have the pieces that can compete in a tournament. I think we have the pieces that can win in a tournament. But now it's our job. We obviously got to get there, and so you can talk about it, read about it, think about it, but you got to go out there and do it. And the best thing you can do is win games. I told our guys, I think the best part about being the position that we're in is that we do kind of control our destiny from a certain standpoint, whether that's seeding in the Big Ten tournament, whether that's some postseason opportunities. It all comes down to winning. You just got to win, and that's on us. We got to find a way to continue to win, and if you do that, then yeah, you'll have a chance to put yourself in position.
Is Hawkins the quickest player that you've ever coached or played with?
He is right there. When I recruited him, if you guys remember, DeAndre Mathau. So when I was here, when we had him, DeAndre kind of gave me confidence to take Elijah, just because of the size. You just don't see small guards that often in the Big Ten. But DeAndre was on our team that was really good, and he was a big impact on that. And his speed separated himself from the other guards in the league, and I thought really gave us an advantage. And so I knew with Elijah, like he could have that DeAndre type impact. And I think obviously he's done that and more. He's played phenomenal, especially the second half of the Big Ten, and I think he's just really showing the player that he can become. Just little things. I think he's been able to finish a little bit better. He's had one or two a game where he's getting it to the rim and he's finishing, and that's a step in the right direction. He's got a couple mid-range pull-ups, which I've been on him about, and he's worked tirelessly at, before and after practice, where now if they have to honor you and you can finish at the rim and now you got your mid-range, everybody knows you can shoot from three. But if you can add those other two pieces, now you totally change not only yourself, but you change our team when you can do those three things. And, I just think he's a willing worker, but the confidence of winning inspires everybody. And now that we've won and we've shown that we can be competitive, it's a lot easier, and the guys want to be in the gym because they want to see where they can take it. And that's the benefit of winning, is that now there's you can dangle that for the guys, and you can tell when you talk about wanting more, they do want it because they've experienced the feeling of what it means to win and what that feels like. And you just have to go through it to totally understand that part of it.
And the game at Indiana in January, the guards didn't shoot very well. Was that something you guys were doing, or something that Indiana was taking away from?
No, I just thought we did not play well in that game. Credit to them on that place there wasn't an empty seat, and I think the moment for us was a kind of a whoa moment. I thought that got us on our heels. We got sped up early, and it just kind of snowballed. But yeah, we did not play well. We were a totally different team than the team that they faced there, as well as there. I mean, they've improved too. But I think our guys need to understand that like the team that played in Bloomington, we're drastically different than that team. And we know we're going against an incredibly talented Indiana team that's won 2 in a row, that's going to have confidence, that's trying to get momentum just like we are into the Big Ten tournament. So this game can't mean more to them than it does us, and it's another opportunity to protect home court and to go a game above 500. And we've shown them all the stats and the numbers, and the few times that this program has been 500 or a game above in league play in the last 25 years, I think it's 5. And to be part of that, encourage them that, you want to leave your footprint wherever you're at. And that's a way of leaving your footprint. When you only have 5 times in 25 years, I think it is, doing something like that, that's the challenge. And I think our guys are hungry. They want to be able to start moving the needle with what they're doing and separating themselves. And that's a positive. There's a lot for us to play for tomorrow. And we've got to make sure we have the urgency to play for all of that.
In the day-to-day grind that you go through in a season, is it kind of crazy to think that tomorrow night this is probably the last time you're in this building this year?
It is. It comes quick. You get in such a routine, even in August with workouts and conditioning and just practices. And it is a grind, and it just comes to an abrupt end. It kind of like it hits you because everybody has their routine, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's gone, it's done. And the first stage of that is the last home game, and then all of a sudden it becomes, all right, if you're in postseason play and you're fortunate enough to do whatever that is, that the end of that is it's so final. But it's also, a good opportunity where you should be even more excited the last time you get to be in here and play in front of our fans and leave on a good note. And I think we've been pretty good at home this year. And it's like, let's end that the right way so there's momentum in the spring. And I'm just so appreciative of the fans that we've had come out and just the reception we've gotten, the public, from the community. And I just try to tell our guys, that's a feeling you don't want to go away. That's a sense of pride that all of you should have, because they're the ones that do the work. And they're the ones that get to walk around campus and again, be in the community and, have the opportunity to continue to play. But don't take that for granted, and let's end this thing the right way and in a positive way. And again, I think this place is a tough place to play when we got it going, so encourage fans to come out. And I thought the electricity last game, and that's the reason we won in the second half, is the building, caught fire, and the fans were into it, and they pulled us and willed us to a win, and that's so important. That's the next and maybe the last stage. And finally, when you're building a program, you got to solidify it. When you can bank on your home court being a true advantage, now you got something. And you look at just throughout our league, right? What does Nebraska have? They got a good team, they got a good coach, but they have a home court advantage. What does Northwestern now have? Good team, good coach, but you go in there, it's 6,500 to the roof, and they're loud, home court advantage. That's the things that are special for this place, and I just really want people to understand how important and valuable they are. I mean, they're part of this with us, and there was no greater sign of that than last game. And you don't come from 23 down when you're kind of flat without the energy of your crowd, and it's just so important.
The gap between the full house and not is getting pretty tight right now. There's not as many seats left, and you lived through the good old days too when it was full every time for a Big Ten game. Are the players that you've recruited that hadn't seen that, seeing that and feeling that at a different level right now than they did, maybe when they got here? Oh
no, they definitely are. I remember Dawson. Beginning of the year, I give guys kind of a sheet, an info sheet, and each year some questions I ask are different. But one of them was what's something you want to get out of this year and then your experience here at Minnesota. And I remember his first year saying, I want to be able to pack Williams Arena. And it wasn't all league, it wasn't NBA, it wasn't all Big Ten. That was his one goal, was to pack Williams Arena. And so to now see it kind of play out for him, I think is pretty cool. For the rest of our guys to see it grow, the guys that were here last year, from last year to this year, obviously winning is a byproduct of that, without question. And just try to find ways to keep riding that wave and keep encouraging fans, and whatever I got to do, whatever we got to do to keep that momentum, we want to do, because I can't emphasize enough how important the support and getting people in the crowd, and our students have been unbelievable all year, and it sucks that it's spring break. But they've done a phenomenal job coming out and supporting these guys. And we don't win the home games we've won without them. I think maybe Nebraska has us by 1 game as far as the most home wins this year, I think, and we have a chance to tie that tomorrow. And you don't do that with an empty arena. You don't. And I get it. Today's day and age, ever since COVID, across the country, it's been hard. I think people, you're asking them to buy different packages to watch, your team play, and you're asking them to do this and do that. I totally understand it. But I also understand there's something better than, seeing it in person. So just why we're so appreciative for the sacrifices that people make that do come out, because it's not cheap and they have families. And we try to tell our guys, like, you need to play well for these people that, shell out their hard-earned money to come watch you play. Like, it is entertainment. So go put on a show and go play well and get them involved and be a team that they want to cheer for. Because it's a huge advantage, and for us to sustain it, this level of play and this type of program that we want to be, I just don't know how to emphasize it more that the fan base matters. And it's probably outside of players, the second most important thing.
Ben, how do you look at the rumored expansion, the NCAA Tournament, 72, 76 teams? How do you look at the prospect?
Yeah, I like it. I just think, we expanded everything else, and you look at conference realignment now. I mean, we're going to have a monster league. And when you're eliminating a conference that's a Power 5 conference, I don't know how you don't expand it. I mean, it is entertainment, and I don't see how adding more games and causing more entertainment is a bad thing. I don't see it. And it gives more people opportunity, not just maybe Power 5s, but other schools opportunity and on the biggest stage. So I'm all for, if you got to make it a couple extra days or an extra weekend. I mean, people were mad about the playing game. And I think now you look at the playing game, that's exciting. It's to build up to the tournament. There's something to that. Dayton gets packed. Now it's not a big deal. Again, but the landscape of college athletics is changing so much. I just feel like we have to be open-minded to changing and having new ideas and what can we do to push the envelope. You look at the NBA All-Star game and what they need to do to change that. They got to do something, right? I thought they did a great job of having the playoff or the whatever that is in Vegas, right? People fought it, but then once you see it, it's more basketball, right? It's another, people might call it hokey, but it's a tournament. You're playing for something. There's engagement. There's nothing bad with that. And I just look at the same thing with the NCAA tournament. It's such a huge event. Like, why can't we make it bigger? How do you do that? Well, you just add more games that are competitive.
All right, thanks. These final 2 regular season games and not look ahead to the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament.
I would just say, it just sounds simple, but just taking it a day at a time and not getting consumed about what's going on in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Just trying to keep the main thing, take it game by game, and we'll get there eventually. So we just got to take care of business first.
How are teams defending you differently as they come to terms with your quickness and trying to understand what it is they can do to you? Has that changed a lot during the Big Ten season?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like at first they were trying to strong hits, the ball screens and stuff. Yeah. And then they got to a point they were icing, and now I just feel like they're denying me the ball, trying to.
Go ahead. What's the importance of the last home game? You guys had such a great year at home. What's the importance of finishing that home schedule with a good effort tomorrow?
Well, yeah, it's very important. Just we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to the fans, we owe it to the state, and just everybody that's believed in us, and just to finish up things strong and go out there and just play, give it our all, 100% effort.
What was the atmosphere like in the last home game?
Atmosphere was sweet. It was senior night. The fans definitely helped us rally and come back, so it was a good experience.
Dawson, what has this turnaround been for you last season? You guys going through all the adversity that you faced to now having a chance to extend your season to the postseason.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to just staying down until you come up for it. Just trusting each and every day that, if you can't see it, just trusting to continue to put in the work, and you'll eventually see it pay off.
I know you guys are focused on it right now, but have you guys made decisions about coming back for next year?
No, truthfully, I haven't. I've just been focused on the season, and I do have extra year eligibility, so It's definitely a possibility that I could use that, and so it's really just going to be a decision. Probably I'll make it quick in the spring because whatever I want to do, I want to be fully committed to. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Elijah, how about you?
Same, I'm just trying to focus on the rest of the season, and that'll take place when it's time.
Elijah, you played in the NCAA tournament. Do you ever tell guys what that's like?
Yeah, for sure. We talk about it a little bit, but I just want to experience it with this team.
What about the NCAA tournament makes you want to give back so much? What was it last year that you took away from it, whether it was the game, the events leading up to the game, the camaraderie with your teammates? What is it that you love most?
I feel like everything was just like a great experience. It was my first time doing it. You always hear about it, see it on TV, so it was just fun and cool to be there, I feel like.
Dawson, when you look at just this team in general, there's a lot of guys obviously that have improved. Who do you think has improved the most, and how much is that going to help you guys to finish the year?
Yeah, I would say that's a tough question to answer because a lot of guys have made a lot of good improvements, but one player that I've just been excited to see kind of flourish, especially as the season's progressed, has been Fox. Just because I was there for him when he had one of those injuries, and he had the same thing the previous year, and so just being able to see him really live out the dream, and seeing how the fan base in the city has kind of come around him has been really cool to see.
How about you, Elijah?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Cam. Cam started off, as a young guy. We had some tough games in the beginning of the season, and he's just been growing throughout the year. I feel like he's been getting better and better, and right now he's definitely one of the best freshmen in the country. Yeah.
Anything else for the players?
Just the momentum you guys could have just winning this game and then hopefully Northwestern. What does that mean of going into the Big Ten tournament? Either one?
Yeah, it means a lot. We want to end the season on a strong note. And then going into the Big Ten tournament, it's in our backyard, so just using all those things to our advantage.